The countdown to Expo is on. 15 days and counting. We'll give you some tips and tricks to prepare for Expo, and we'll take a look at how the Series 1 card market is performing 1 week out from release, and we'll also get to the return of the Hockey Card Stock Exchange. This is episode 25 of the Hockey Card Haven podcast. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome. This is the Hockey Card Haven podcast with myself, Mike Distefano, and my co-host Anthony Santini, here to dive deep into the world of hockey card collecting, flipping, and investing. First and foremost, welcome to some new viewers. Had a bunch of new subscribers, Anthony, come over after my appearance from the Hockey Card Gong Show podcast. Shout out, thanks to those boys for having me on the show. It was a blast. It was long. It was a long chat. It was a very long chat, but it was a lot of fun with those guys. So thanks to everyone who's kind of come over and given us a fair shake. We got a good episode coming up today. I mean, we're a week out from the release, or a week past the release of Series 1, so we'll look at how some of the top young guns are performing. Anthony wasn't on the show last week, so he didn't get a chance to talk about the Young Guns Renewed and the frenzy that took place with those. So we'll get into all that. But we're 15 days away from Expo, Anthony. 15 days away. It's coming up quick, man. I can't believe that we are pretty well 2 weeks until we got to get over there. And you've got a big announcement that you want to share on the pod today. Big announcement. Let's hear it.
I'm super fired up, man. 2 weeks away. Oh my God. I'm like beyond excited. I've been waiting. I want to announce it last week, but I'm super fired up to say that we're going to be set up at the Expo. Me and my buddy Eric, for those of you that know me around the shows, you definitely know my buddy Eric, but we're going to be set up. Sports Cards GTA will be set up officially. We're all paid up. We're just waiting on the dimensions, waiting on where we'll be, who will be side. But me and Eric have already been talking the last week, what our strategy is. I've started to do a little bit of the Mike Distefano, throwing some stickers on cards already, some prices. So
look at you getting prepared.
I'm getting locked in. And I'm super excited because this was actually a goal of mine last year. We fell short because we felt we weren't ready. It was disappointing, but this year we're full on ready.
So what does that mean? Like, you weren't ready last year, but you feel like you're ready this year to set up. Like, why do you feel like you're ready this year? What steps have you taken, and why are you excited for it?
I mean, last year I felt like we were in a position, and I see it so many times at the Expo, where people set up and maybe they don't have the inventory that you would want to have. That would be, the sport you want, price points, different price points, high-end cards, low-end cards, a good amount of bins. I feel like last year when we were looking at the Expo, we were busy with school. We were busy with, kind of building that display case for our, collection, if you want to say. Me and Eric don't have a shared collection, but I just didn't have the right display cases, the right cards for a display case at the time. I didn't have the right bins. Now I have a Young Guns bin, dollar bins for all the sports. I have more than enough stuff to fill a full display case. I'm about to order a new display case today. And at the time, I just didn't have any of that. So now I'm super pumped and I feel like I'm ready to go.
Attaboy, Anthony. So hopefully by next week you find out the exact table you will have, and we could let people know where they could find Anthony if they want to swing by and say hello. He'll be out there. I'll be walking the floor. I don't believe I'm going to have a table unless something pops up last minute like last year. But as of now, I plan on walking the floor and being a man of the people, Anthony. I'm going to be amongst the people. I think we should do some content too. I think it would be nice for us to get out there with the podcast and try and see if we can find some listeners. And, they do like those YouTube things where they go around asking people, what's the coolest card you have in your collection? And, stuff like that can go around, get people to open up some packs with some kids or something, buy a few packs and stuff. So I think we'll try and get some content done while we're at the Expo, and it's going to be a great time. Obviously, we're going to make some big pickups, and we'll be talking about it leading up to the Expo. I plan on getting Mikey Singer on the podcast. Hopefully, we can get it done next week. He's kind of the head honcho who puts it all together. So I'd love to get him on the show to talk about the experience and talk about why this year's Expo is going to be the best, because they seem to be getting better and better each year. I was taking a look actually at the autograph sessions, and there's some pretty good players and former players and whatnot who are going to be there. Bobby McMahon is going to be there. Maple Leaf Bobby McMahon. I think Max Domi is going to be there as well, and obviously a bunch of Hall of Famers, and from really all around the sports world and the pop culture world. But one thing that is going to be returning for the second Fall Expo in a row is going to be on-site grading. And that is a big feature that was introduced at the last Fall Expo. It was not at the Spring Expo, but it was there last fall, where PSA came and set up for some on-site grading. Becca will be there, KSA and MNT, Mint, the Canadian company, will be there as well, all doing on-site grading. Is this something that you'll be taking advantage of while you're there?
I'm gonna see. I mean, it's definitely a conversation that as the weekend goes on, I'm gonna see what cards I end up picking up, how they look, if it's worth grading. My number one tip to people is just if you have a card that you want to get graded, make sure it's in really good condition because it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap to do the on-site grading. And if you get a grade that you don't like, you could be stuck. Like, don't pick up a nice Cole Caulfield and you're like, yep, I mean, this thing looks great. I picked it up for $50. I'm going to grade it for 150. Hopefully I get a 10. Like, I think my biggest piece of advice is don't grade a card that's less than $1,000 in value for a raw. That's my personal opinion.
Well,
I don't know if you want to contest that.
well, let's put the let's hold on one sec. If you're looking to use it as an investment, that's the case. If you're just looking to encapsulate it, then that's one other thing. You're looking to put it to your PC. You want to have a PSA, whatever, a PC card, and you want to have it in its graded case. That's one thing. You can pay whatever you want for that. And there are a lot of people who don't feel comfortable like sending off their cards through the mail to PSA, to Beckett, to wherever. So they just don't do that. But if it's on site, they feel comfortable. They can drop off the card, and it says end of show grading. So it's $99 for PSA for anything under $1,500 in value. And it says you'll get the card end of show. So if you bring it in, whatever, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you will for sure get it back by the end of show on Sunday. Usually you're getting it back within like a few hours, to be honest with you. Like they're trying to keep up as long as possible, trying to keep up with things. So they're trying to pump all of this stuff out. So I will say that, like, if you're coming at it from an investment standpoint, but if there are those collectors out there who just want to get their stuff slabbed and they don't have that confidence or comfort of sending stuff in the mail to get graded, this is a chance to do it as well. So I don't want people to think like, oh, people think I'm, not doing it's not a smart move. You do whatever the hell you want. Do whatever the hell you want.
I mean, too, like every time we have a conversation, it's always like that fire and ice where you can give the collector side of things. I give the investor side of things. And I feel like for our viewers, we've been able to do that for like 24 episodes in a row. So I do think, though, like you mentioned, if you are looking to grade a card for your PC, like you said, there's so many collectors out there that have an amazing collection of raw cards at home. And that's quite literally because of the fact they don't want to send it across the border. They don't want to send it to the US. They don't want to ship their card. And this is a great opportunity to go in, walk in, wait in line, grade your card in person.
How much? So you used to do a grading submission. I don't know what you call it, a business, but like you used to do submissions for people within the area and whatnot, but you stopped because the taxes that they were doing for the border for customs was just getting out of hand. You don't have that problem when you're doing it in person here. So that's one benefit and bonus as well.
I feel like too, like when you have packages coming back and forth from Canada to US, it could get tricky for, tracking it, if you need to pay duties, all that stuff. Here, from what I believe,
what I was looking for, duty. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
The word what I think the first thing that comes to my mind personally, I haven't done it. I haven't graded in person with PSA. I did it with MNT. I was thinking about doing it with Beckett, and I didn't pull the trigger last year on PSA thinking to do it in person. I know you have, and if you think, I don't believe there was any duties or taxes or anything like that.
No. That's just whatever the price is. So it's like PSA. So the price point for PSA, it's $99 per card, which is expensive. That is more money.
I believe US. Right?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a US price or is it a US price? I'm not 100% sure.
I'm 99% sure it's US.
Well, the flyer I looked at was for the Toronto Sport Card Expo specifically. So I don't know
Okay.
if they like did the conversion already or if it's 99 US and they just said, "Oh, Canadians can convert it themselves in their head." I don't know. But
I could.
regardless, it's either 99 Canadian or 99 US. So it's regardless, it's going to be over $100. It's plus tax to grade your card for values under 1500. And usually you could get that card back if not within, 4 or 5 hours. Go do it early. If you do plan on bringing cards to get graded, go do that first and then go
Yeah.
walk the floor. And then you'll get an email saying, hey, your cards are ready for pickup. And then you could go pick them up a few hours later. If you get lucky and it's only takes a few hours, sometimes if you do it later in the day, you might have to, if you come back the next day or something like that. But so PSA is $99. KSA, if you want to get a KSA slab, it's a little cheaper. It's $50 for a KSA slab. If you want to get bulk submissions, you can get it down to 45. And that could be for those who are looking to just, get their PC cards encapsulated. Maybe that's a cheaper way to go about things. We know KSA doesn't necessarily hold value. And for those American listeners, this is a Canadian company. It doesn't hold much value on the resale market. So that's one thing that you have to consider. Are you maybe better off going PSA just in case you want to move on from those cards? If not,
Yeah.
KSA is also a more affordable way to do things. And then obviously Beckett is going to be there as well. So that's just another opportunity, another thing that that the Expo is offering now that they did not before. So that's just another way that they keep getting better and better. And now with PSA, it's going to be the second year in a row that they're going to be on site. I know it was really busy last year. I'd imagine it'll be really busy this year as well. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing for them to be here.
Really good.
All right. Anthony, I want to talk a little bit about Series 1. Flagship came out a week ago today. And I opened up 2 boxes myself. Ended up getting the Lane Hutson. Also got a Cutter Gochi. It came in the same box, actually. It's pretty
Nice.
good box. Pretty loaded box when it came to getting a couple of the top Young Guns in there. I know you want to talk about the renewed Young Guns briefly, and we'll get to those. But I think that we should probably discuss some of the top Young Guns chases. And, we did a pyramid, a Young Guns pyramid rankings, we'll call it, a couple of shows ago, detailing who we thought would be the big chases. We were wrong. We were wrong on who our number one chase would be. We thought it was going to be Cutter Gauthier. We were very wrong. He was not only was he not the number one chase, he wasn't even the second top chase or top, valued card out there. He was third, funny enough, Cutter Gauthier. So that was kind of interesting to see. Lane Hutson ended up being the apple of the eye of many collectors. We probably should have saw it coming considering the
Yeah.
Montreal connection, but defensemen don't typically sell very well, and that's probably why we didn't give it enough love. Now, it's come down, and they all come down, obviously, but this thing was selling at like $150 on release day, $150 for a Lane Hutson Young Guns. And look, I'll be completely honest, I sold mine right away. I'm like, yeah, I ended up selling it for 140. I knew these prices were not going to stay that high. That's crazy. You can get a Quinn Hughes for $100.
Yeah.
Why would you pay a 150 for a Lane Hutson?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're already down just 1 week later from 150 down to selling for about $110, between 100 and 110 bucks. So they're already starting to come down. I would imagine even by Expo, we're looking at probably an 80-ish dollar card 15 days from now at Expo, I would think, for Lane Hutson. I think we see it continue to kind of go down from there.
I think too, like the Montreal hype is just so crazy in the market. We've seen it so many times. We saw it happen with Kirby Doc when he got traded. We saw it happen with Patrick Laine just this summer. And that was like unreal. You saw people dust off collections that you never thought you would see ever again with Laine's market out of nowhere. It's the hottest cards you've ever seen in the past, 6 months? Like just crazy. Yeah. But for me personally, I didn't pick up any boxes to rip. I know you're going to get into it. You had a nice little visit to Mint Inc., had some fun there with the great guys over there. That was fun. But for me personally, I didn't really think that Lane Hutson's cards were going to reach that much. That's pretty crazy. They got to 150.
I was
We
shocked.
both talked about it. We both thought that it wouldn't sustain its price at 150, 130 to 150 range. I think $80 is a safe bet for Expo, but even still, if it comes to Expo and they're sitting at $80 a pop and you're thinking about
Well,
pulling the trigger, I don't know if it's the right play.
well, that was going to be my question. If you're walking the Expo floor, Anthony, and you're walking the Expo floor, you see an $80 price tag on it, are you picking it up?
I mean, I'm personally not. I I
Okay,
don't think I would even.
so as a buyer, you're not picking it up at 80 bucks. As a
No.
seller, as someone
Oh,
who's
I'm
setting up, which you
moving.
are,
Oh,
you put
I'm
an
moving.
$80 sticker on it. Are you gonna try and sell it for 80 or are you gonna try and hold it?
Oh, I'd try and sell it for $80. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would buy this card for $50. Personally, I know the hype at the beginning was very high for Lane Hutson, very high, rightfully so. Great player, great market. The
You know,
only
he played
downside,
30 minutes the other night. Did you see it?
yeah,
30
like
minutes for the kid. That was crazy.
like
Crazy.
that's like top tier numbers that you don't even see from who led the like Drew Doughty, a player
Like,
that plays a lot of minutes. I think
yeah,
Darlene plays a
Shabbat,
lot of minutes. Yeah,
Yossi,
yeah.
yeah.
Like just the top cream of the crop NHL defense, and we're already seeing from this guy in his first year. So personally, I think he's a great player. Nothing, nothing for him and what he's going to become. But right now in the market for his price point, I wouldn't even personally touch it with a 10-foot pole for $50 as of right now. And for me, the past 2 years, I'd say I have stayed away from these newer players and newer cards. I haven't really bought anyone because Young Guns, technically, we talk about all the time, not even technically. They're just, quite frankly, not rare. There's a lot of them
Yes.
printed. You're going to
Yeah.
see them for forever. Even if you're looking to invest in a player in their fourth or fifth year, sure, their price might have jumped up a little bit, but I think you're really giving yourself a chance to take less of a risk when you wait it out. Personally, I still haven't owned a Bedard Young Guns. I still think they're coming down. I know they're moving up. I'm fighting, but I still think they're going to come down.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've been in that boat. I haven't grabbed one either. I firmly said to myself, I thought they would get down to about 250, and
Yeah.
they never quite reached it. They flirted with 300, but never quite reached 250. So I never ended up pulling the trigger, and now I think they're back up to like 450.
Yeah, they're up.
So yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening with that market. But yeah, like they are incredibly rare or not rare. They are incredibly common. Um, but a couple of the other big sellers, obviously, Logan Stankoven was the next best hit that you could get in terms of base Young Guns. That was an $80 card back on release day. It's now dropped. It's selling for in and around $50, 45 to 50 range. Cutter Gauthier, who we noted as one of the better players, he was a $60 Young Gun out the gate. It was a little lower than I thought it was going to be honest with you. And he's now only selling for like $35. Like I was set up at a show this weekend, but I had like the $60 price tag on it, expecting someone to, say, oh, I'll give you whatever,
$50, yeah.
$50, 45, whatever it may be. And someone's like, oh, 60 for the Gauthier. Yeah. He's like, oh, I wouldn't even pay 40 for it. I'm like, really? That's like a
Yeah.
week away and out of release, and people are already soured and aren't willing to pay, $40 on Cutter Gauthier. Well, I thought he was going to be the big chase of Series 1. It kind of surprised me for how low the market is, how down the market is on Gauthier.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even just Gauthier too, because we're seeing it with other players too. Like Logan Stankoven, another player, where out of the gate his price did, it didn't even go up personally. I think it was around like $90 out of the gate.
80 bucks was like right
Okay.
around where it was going for, and
And
then it's
drop
to like
all
50.
the yeah, I saw on a story sale, someone had it for like 47 shipped, 52 shipped, and it was only a week after. And I think not only to kind of cut down the take of Gauthier and scaring off from him, I think it's just with all the players. People are really learning right now that out of the gate, prices are going to be very high. But after a week or so, I think they're learning that prices are really going to slow down, and you almost need to take a step back and be like, well, it's not a rare card. I'm going to see it probably for the next 10 years. Like you look at players that have been in the league for 10, 15 years, like we're still seeing McKinnon cards. We're still seeing Matthews cards. We're still seeing Yossi's. We're still seeing Hellebuck. Like these good players in the league, you're going to see their Young Guns. They're going to be around. Trust me.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's still enough people out there that the FOMO takes over and they
Yeah.
always end up grabbing these cards. I mean,
Yeah.
so there are again, you take it all. You always are taking things from like the investor's perspective, and yes, I think investors such as yourself aren't going out and spending the crazy money on these, but the collectors are, right? Those die-hard Montreal Canadian fans are going out and spending $150 right away to get their hands on a Lane Hutson or get their hands on a Logan Mailloux who was selling for
Yeah.
45 to $50 on opening day. Josh Waugh, who was a $30 Young Guns, like a month from now, these things are definitely going to be half that, if not a quarter of those prices at some point here down the line. And that's just always going to be the case. There's always going to be people who are going to FOMO and want to grab these cards right away. And that's okay, man. As long as people are happy, they
Yep.
get their cards. That's perfectly fine. Speaking of Series 1, we talk about cards that were common, cards that were common that were not, or cards that were uncommon. Little SSP Easter egg that got released. The crossed up Easter egg. Did you see this? Let me. I'll pull this up
Well,
in
yeah.
just a moment. But you saw the crossed up Easter eggs. What'd you make of them?
I thought they were pretty cool. I saw it. The first glance at it was on Instagram. Upper Deck did like a little video of where the cards, I believe it was a 8 or 9 card set, just off the top of my head, were laid out on the table. And I kind of thought those are pretty nice cards. I saw one on Facebook Marketplace for like $5,000 for the Ovechkin. And I was kind of like, I mean, they are rare technically, but I think that's a little crazy. When you pull up the photo, they kind of remind me of the 16-bit. That was the first thing that crossed my mind. And for those of you that do know Upper Deck, do know sports cards, the 16-bit is a very, very rare card. And we've talked about that in past episodes. But it's a nice looking card. I mean, it has that border to it. That's nice. I feel like this card is going to be very tough to grade because it's not really white around the borders.
Yeah.
There's lots of area for chipping, but it's a good looking card. A great idea, I think, personally. And for how short printed they are, I would imagine myself picking up maybe a couple of them if they do maybe come down a little cheaper in price, because I could feel Upper Deck really pushing this set in the future, because I feel like so far the response has been pretty good.
Yeah, depending on the player, I think I've seen them go for, like the Crosbys and McDavids are going for $300-400 a piece, and then you'll get the lower end guys, not lower, they're all superstars. They're all like star players that they
lower end of the
put
set
in the series, but yeah, lower end of the set, not in the Crosby McDavid ranks, going in the $100-ish range. So it was just a nice little Easter egg that that Upper Deck threw in there for anyone lucky enough to pull one of these super short prints. I thought it was okay. It's funny you mentioned the 18 or the 16-bit because Billy Cilio, who is a product manager for Upper Deck flagship, he was on the Hockey Card Gong Show podcast last Wednesday on release day, and he talked about how the first iteration of the card looked too much like 16-bit. So then they ended up having to kind of redo it so it didn't look like it as much. It's supposed to be like cross-stitching. I don't know if you're familiar with what cross-stitching is. Yeah, so it's supposed to be like a crochet cross-stitch type of characters is what that's the inspiration behind it, at least. But yeah, I thought they're pretty neat. Pretty neat little insert little card there. You know what wasn't SSP though, Anthony? The base Young Guns renewed.
Oh my goodness. I've
Boy, oh
been waiting
boy.
for this conversation.
These things were going for some quite outrageous money on release day. So first of all, like you were on last week, so I want to get your thoughts on the design and the insert as a whole, and then we could dig into the pricing fiasco. But like, what did you think of the Young Guns renewed? Just money aside, rarity aside, do you like it? Do you like the look of it at least?
I don't like the idea of it at all. Like,
really,
straight up underline it, put an explanation on.
So why is that? Why?
I don't like it at all. I just feel like the ability to reuse the design of the Young Guns in sets is very lazy. Like, I think it's very lazy from Upper Deck, and I love a lot of the work they do. They come up with awesome sets. I mean, the cards look great. They're good looking cards. They look awesome. I mean, for myself,
problem.
The problem is for collectors and new people coming into the hobby, they're going to pick up these cards, think that they're valuable, think that they do have maybe some, is the word, like investment ability with them, because it's a variation of the Young Gun. It's not a variation of the Young Gun. It's
No,
borderline a base card. It is a base card. I mean, it
no,
looks cool.
it's an insert. It's an insert
Ah,
card.
oh my God. But we see them everywhere, like all over
Yeah,
eBay,
but I
all
mean, like
over
it's
Instagram.
that like it literally is an insert though. Like that's what it
Yeah.
is. Like a canvas, like a dazzler, like a one of the POVs, the PVP. Like it's an insert.
I personally think it's lazy work. I'm not into it at all. The cards look great. They look, I mean, they look awesome. Let's not kid ourselves. The
Yeah.
Crosby looks awesome.
Luke the Cardist is the guy who designed these. Luke the Cardist. And he did the episode that I was on for the Hockey Card Gong Show. He was also on that episode. They did an
Yeah.
hour-long interview with him. So you can go listen to it and listen to how kind of this all came about. So I think that they look cool. I think
Oh yeah.
in theory it was a really good idea. I just don't think it was executed as well. I think that maybe is what you're trying to get to.
Oh,
I
100%.
wish they were more SSP because I think that these are cards that are super cool looking that I think would be very collectible and are collectible. Obviously, the market for this stuff was insane on release day. Like, what people are paying $100 for like Crosby and Ovechkin, Young Gun renewed, and like $50 for a Carey Price. Any common was going for like $10 a pop. Easy, easy, easy. And it's like these are regular base,
Yeah.
like insert cards that you'll see in a dollar bin 6 months from now, like guaranteed.
Oh,
It was
for
wild.
sure.
I mean, not the Crosby and Ovi and like some of the bigger names. They'll probably be $10 or something because they do look cool and people will want them. There is an inherent value to that and collectability to that, but $100 is insane. Like these
Oh
are
yeah.
so common. There was 3 per box and they were loaded. The one thing I will say is I do believe that they are collectible and there are going to be people who want to put together the full set. So
Yeah.
that will give it value, right? Unlike a lot of these other inserts, people honestly just toss them aside. Like people rarely care about the other inserts. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. When's the last time that you've looked at a UD canvas card and said, "Oh, I want to buy that"? Never.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
So it holds more value than that. But yes, it is not short printed. I
No.
don't know if maybe when it first came out, people thought they were because there were a couple of short print variations. Like they had the Bergeron, the Suzuki, the Stützle, and the McDavid, right? Those outburst versions were short printed. Very, very short printed. They had the silver outburst, the ruby, and then the gold one of ones of those cards. But all the rest, the base ones, were not. Those were very, very common. I wonder if there was a mix up. I wonder if there was just a little bit of ignorance and people thought maybe they were more short printed than they actually are, and they were spending up buying these up for a crazy amount of money. But yeah, I right on release day, I text you. I'm like, "Are you seeing what these
Yeah.
Young Guns renewed are going for?" And I texted a few different people, a couple of people in the hobby, a couple of store owners, and I'm like, "This is insane! Like these are going to fall off a cliff," and they have.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, they have in the
Big
last
time.
week. Like you can get one of these Crosby Ovi things, I think, for like $20 a pop now. That's a fifth of what they were going for a week ago. And these, regular base ones, like I had a Tuomo Ruutu one. I had a Mark Stone and Eric Carlson. You can pick those up for like literally $2-3 a piece now.
Yeah.
And they were selling for $10-15 each on release day. It was insane. So the market is correcting itself on them. But it was bonkers. It's a great set. I disagree with you personally. I think it's a great set. I just think and I don't think we disagree. I think we agree on that. I just think we both just agree that the execution of it wasn't the best. We just wish there wasn't so many of them, right?
So for me personally, like, and to blank out say it, awesome design. Like I was trying to say before, amazing design. It looks great.
I think you hate them. You can't say you hate them. Like that's you use the wrong.
I hate the idea. I hate the idea of how it came out. and like you said, they could have been more short print. The number one thing really that pissed me off and kind of threw me off the cliff was when I saw the Young Guns exclusive and the high gloss of it. I was kind of like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
did we really have to add that in? Personally, if I were to do it, I would either do.
Well, to be fair, there is a Young Guns exclusive and high gloss of every base card out there, though. Like,
I
every single base card. Like, I'm currently
yeah,
holding a base William Nylander card from
yeah,
Series 1,
there,
right?
yeah,
There is an exclusives, and there is a
yeah,
high gloss version
yeah,
of this exact
yeah.
card. So it's
I
kinda
mean,
the same thing.
I know, but if I were to do it personally, if I were in that room making the decision, I feel like the best thing you could have done was make the renewed cards exclusives and high gloss. No base, no nothing. I feel like there's no need for the base. Make these short print because they look
Yeah,
awesome. They're awesome cards.
make them
But
case hits,
oh
right?
yeah,
Make them case
exactly.
hits,
Yeah.
or even a box hit, right? Like one per box would have been okay, but 3 per box, it's
No,
little.
like, it's excessive. Like you said too, make them a case hit. Make the set list, or sorry, the checklist maybe 6 players. Start off hot. Start off Crosby, Ovi, McKinnon, Matthews,
Well,
McCarr, and
they're doing this going like they're doing this for, I think I heard him say on the show, like 3 years. I think it's a 3-year process. So that's
yeah,
why you
and like
didn't see Matthews in this one,
I
right?
mean,
You didn't.
it's just not like I don't know. It looks great. We've said it more than a
The
handful amount of
design,
times.
so I think
Yeah,
we're kind of on the same page where the design was great, but the execution, like,
yeah,
I just think it would have been, for how good the design is,
yeah,
it could have been SSP, right?
yeah,
It could have been short printed. That being said, like, I guess we can't be upset that they're willing to give us all these cool cards. So anyone who
nope.
wants it, you know what? I think this is good for the collectors, though. Like, again, we always kind of
Mhm.
take this from an investment standpoint.
Nope.
But for collectors, like, if this is a super collectible card, super collectible set, I think a lot of people are going to want to put together a binder of the renewed Young Gun set, all 50 of them. And I guess it is nice that they could do it for a rather cheap cost,
Yep.
right? If they tried to do it on release day, forget it. You paid way too much. But I think, like, come Expo or Fall Expo or Spring Expo, maybe even, you could find a lot of these in the dollar bin.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be dollar bin fodder for the most part, and you could put together the set. So maybe it was a bone that was thrown out to collectors. Like, Upper Deck's got to play that. They got to play that line, right? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, the collectors do drive the hobby, right? Like, those are the true blue, backbone of the hobby. So, perhaps it was kind of a bone to throw to them. All right, buddy. Good stuff. We'll kind of put a bow on Series 1. We'll see how everything starts to perform going forward. We're gonna reintroduce an old segment here. We did it. We kind of did it through the playoffs. So we started the podcast like right around when the playoffs were beginning. So had a chance to do this. It's the Hockey Card Stock Exchange, and we're open for business, Anthony. The Hockey Card Stock Exchange. We talk about it all the time. How the hockey card market is very much like a stock market, and card values are performing and going up and down based on player performance, just like a company's performance is dictating their stock market. So hockey cards, very much the same way. That's just how business works. And we are opening up the stock exchange. And Anthony, which player is currently trending up to start the season on the stock exchange?
Ooh, the number one player, I think, and you said it right, trending up is Ross Colton for me. It hasn't happened just yet. We haven't really seen that increase, but for all you hockey fans, and especially last night, an awesome frenzy of games. I thought that on a separate conversation was an awesome idea done by the NHL, taking a little from the NFL, but sweet stuff. Ross Colton's been amazing for the Colorado Avalanche. Right now, he has, I believe I had it down, 7.6 goals right now on that first line, and he's been a massive presence for that power play, which has lacked Landeskog and Nichushkin. Obviously, Landeskog out a little bit longer than Nichushkin has. The only thing that really scares me is the return of Nichushkin in the next month, which he should be back. But as of right now, Ross Colton's been amazing, and I'm really surprised that his prices haven't reached at least $10 to $15 for a Young Guns raw, because they're still sitting around $2. Like, you see sales on eBay for around $2 to $3 to $4 ish max, which haven't really popped at all. I've seen a couple sales of future watches, a couple nice patch auto sales, and that's really where the market starts to take its way when a player starts to play well. You see some nice cards start to move, But eventually, I'm hoping and fingers crossed we could see Ross Colton prices jump up, because fantasy, watching him, and hopefully the card market being third, I really want to see an increase, because in all the other two, we've really seen an awesome, awesome performance from Ross Colton.
Trying to see on Card Ladder if we have many sold listings here. Maybe we can look it up in the sales history of Ross Colton to see what's going on. If we're seeing some sales here on him, looks like there's a couple. There are a couple of
Mhm.
sales on him. No, what's not sort by price? We'll sort by dates sold. So yeah, we got a Young Guns. Couple Young Guns have sold today. Upper Deck Premier, a rookie. Anything good though? A clear cut from Series 1.
I think I saw that. It was like
Uh,
50.
Ruby Double Diamond sold for $20 the other day. Looks like his FWAP, his Future Watch patch auto sold a couple days ago for $100. That's
Nice.
not bad. That
Pretty
seems
good.
like so I don't know what the price was prior to that. I don't know how many sales of that we've seen, but on October 22nd, so yesterday, one sold for $97.98
Nice.
On eBay. So looks like it is starting. It is people are starting to pay attention to Ross Colton. There is one little risk in investing in Ross Colton right now, though, isn't there? Like
I'd love
the
to hear
fact
it.
well, there's just a lot of injuries to that team, right? Like no Druin, no
Yeah.
Nichushkin, no Lehkonen, right? Those guys come back, that probably pushes Colton down the lineup again. And if that's the case, is he producing the way he is?
I mean, I'd say it is a scare for sure. But let's just say Nichushkin comes back in 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, I believe is his timeline. And I feel like that's the guy that's going to hop on that first line. If Ross Colton's playing some of the best hockey they've seen, and McKinnon's like, look, I don't want this guy off my line. I'm playing my best. He's playing his best. Let's keep it how it is. Maybe this is the emergence of Ross Colton and how his NHL career gets a kick, and gets him going. But I do think there are some talented players right now that are going to be knocking at the door when they get when they're off the injured reserve. So that's a little bit of a scare. But as of right now, if you do have your Ross Colton, I wouldn't say panic sell, because me, a lot of people on this podcast listen. And for anyone listening, I'm always saying it's time to sell. It's time to sell. It's time to sell. I would maybe hold on to some Ross Colton here and see how this market picks up, because I even think $100 for a Future Watch patch auto for a guy playing on McKinnon and Rantanen's line has a lot of opportunity to grow
Cup winner.
still. Yeah.
Former cup winner too when he was
Yep.
with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I like Ross Colton. I think he's like a good middle six guy. Plays with some grit, and apparently has a little goal scoring touch to him too when given the opportunity. I think I have his Future Watch auto actually. No, I'm just thinking back. I definitely bought one over the summer. All right, Ross Colton trending upward. For me, I've got a player a little more established in his career, but he's having a red hot start to the season. Artemi Panarin, the bread man from the New York Rangers, who is a 15-16 Series 1 Young Guns. Red hot start to the year, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. He's second in goals, second in points to start the year for the Rangers, who are on fire. His PSA 10 last sale was $124, and that was yesterday, up from about $100 that we saw at the start of the season. So that is an increase of 20% over the last couple of weeks. And still, that seems cheap, Anthony. Like, this is a guy perennially who's 100-point player, in the MVP Hart conversation, plays in one of the biggest markets in the world, the New York Rangers. The fact that he can get his PSA 10 for $125 still to me seems very, very cheap.
It's so cheap, and he came off one of his best seasons last year. Last year was arguably, I think he had
He had 49 goals. It was a career year last year.
Most of his career, and I feel like this year he could kind of get that same performance out of him, because the Rangers are going to be good. We know that for sure. But $124 is very cheap for a player this talented. Like, we don't even see players in his caliber, their prices going for that in a raw. I mean, look at McKinnon. You could put him in that same conversation kind of production-wise. I know McKinnon does have that up step on him, but even a player like Rantanen, similar conversation, very cheap, $20 for a raw, similar like Panarin. But I do think from an investment standpoint, we're not going to see that massive hobby boom from Panarin because it just hasn't happened. It didn't happen last year. It didn't happen in years prior, and it definitely is not going to happen anytime soon. So I would expect a little bit of a percentage increase from Panarin, but nothing too crazy.
Is pop count for his PSA 10? What do you think it is? Curious.
Oh, maybe like 2,000 or no, PSA 10 like 1,500.
1,180.
All right, not bad.
So almost 1,200. Almost 1,200. Yeah. Again, 15, 16 Young Guns.
What's the gem rate on that? Because that's a tough year to get a gem. That's the McDavid year.
It is the McDavid year, but what does that also mean?
That means the Beckett also, right?
That means there's a hell of a lot of Becketts out there. So you've only got 1,100, nearly 1,200 PSA 10s, but they've also got 1,200 Beckett 9.5s on top of that, which are also considered gems, right? The Beckett 9.5s, they're considered gems. So the gem rate, if you're considering the total population of gems, is 61%. But if you're looking at the PSA gem rate, which is the difference of being a PSA 10 compared to everything else, it's only 49%.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely a tough year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, trending down. We continue to take a look at the stock market, the hockey card stock market. Which player to you has been trending down to start the year?
It's got to be Miro Heiskanen for me. Going into this season, I kind of had I actually did have a Miro Heiskanen Norris slip because I thought he was going to have that good of a season, and no points right now coming out of the gate. 7 games in, no points. He's looked okay. I mean, it was never his game to come out there all flashy 3-point nights, kind of like what you see coming out from Quinn Hughes and Makar. So that's always been tough for his market, but his PSA 10, are down to about $60, which is just terrible for me. Like, his market has really taken a pretty big hit for a player that I think has a lot of room to grow. Like, you would think that his PSA 10s would go for about 150 to 200 with how talented he is. Quarterbacking, one of the best power plays in the league, one of the most talented power plays in the league. But Miro Heiskanen has really done him no favors in these first 7 games. It's been pretty bad for him.
Yeah, it's not a good start, I guess, for Heiskanen. Still lots of time for him to turn things around, though. Going to see PSA 10 last sale was $74. Pop count of 1,322. We're looking at it's a 17-18 Series 1 Young Guns for him. Just want to see what the sales of this card are typically at. Let me see. Take a look again at Card Ladder.
All summer, they ranged around like 70 to 100.
So there was one sale for 127 right before the season back in September 29th for 127. And then it dropped down to about 90. And yeah, now we're sitting at $74. So the last month, it's down about 11% in the last month for Miro Heiskanen. So yeah, not a good start for him. And defensemen are always tough. If you're not producing points, you're not getting much hobby value, not getting much hobby love. And that's unfortunately where Heiskanen finds himself early on in the year. Speaking of not producing a whole lot and not getting a lot of love, Elias Pettersson is my pick for trending down on the hockey card stock market. Man, this guy, it's been tough. It's been a tough like calendar year almost basically for this guy. Did you know since getting his contract, right? Since getting his contract on March 3rd, he has just 2 even strength goals since then, and he's gone over 32 games without one.
That's ridiculous.
That's wild for a guy making $11.6 million bucks. So really tough end to the season last year, and it's carried over into the new year. Just 3 assists in 6 games to start the year. This was a player who I picked to be my bounce back candidate this year in the hobby. And boy, am I ever not on the right page on that one. There's still time. Like let's it's not as though Elias Pettersson's bad at hockey and he's going to turn into, I was going to say Huberdeau, but he's actually playing pretty well right now. Where he's just going to forget how to play. Like I think he'll figure it out. But right now, he's trending downward. I mean, he is down 28% in the last 3 months. The last sale. What do you remember Pedersen selling for all summer long? You probably picked up a couple or looked
Oh,
at some price
like,
tags. You did
like
actually.
around
You sold a couple in the summer, didn't you?
yeah. Yeah, I picked up 2 of them. They were going for around 180 to 200, were they?
Yeah, like 180, 175, 180, about
The
that
raws
price.
were going for $100 too, just
Yeah.
about.
Last sale on a PSA 10, 132.
No way, really?
$132 for
Oh,
PSA 10 Pedersen Young Guns. Yeah, that's a tough number.
jeez.
That's a tough number for
That was a
someone who
$300 card at one point. I
dude,
remember doing a swap. I traded a Pedersen for a Jack Hughes straight up, just like 1 for 1.
a year ago at the Fall Expo, Pedersen was the hottest player at
Yeah,
the
he
Fall
was, yep.
Expo. It was like
I rem
Pedersen and Jack Hughes.
Yep. I picked up, during that expo too, I picked up his Future Watch auto, Beckett 9, cracked it,
Mm.
crossed it to a PSA 10. That was a nice little,
Did you move it?
crack. And it was moved. It was moved pretty fast.
Good,
You know me, I
because
move it
that's
pretty fast,
probably
but
down very significantly right now, I would imagine. Let me see if I can pull up that price. Pedersen,
I think they were going for around 1,000 in a 10.
Elias
I
Pedersen
believe.
Future Watch Auto.
Or they were going for around like 1,200, 1,300.
Yeah, they
'Cause
were
it was
going for a decent amount.
yeah,
They were definitely going for a decent amount. Last one sold raw for $400. But
not bad,
what is it in a
not bad.
PSA 10? That's the question that I want to know. PSA 10 values. Crap. Can't find a PSA. Okay, there's a PSA 9. There we go. PSA 10,
Even
1100.
okay.
So last
So they're
sale was for
stable.
1100.
That's pretty stable compared to his Young Guns, I'd say,
Well, 1100, but that was also like we haven't seen a sale of this in quite
for a
some time.
while. Yeah.
Online, at least. There hasn't been
I
an
don't think
online
anyone
sale.
I don't think anyone's gonna be moving it for anything under than that right now because they're probably got their fingers crossed hoping that he could, pick up his season.
Well, there was a sale of that card, PSA 10, the day after he signed the contract for $1,500. And since then, that is down considerably. So what's that from December or from March 15th? No, March 4th. So since March 4th to, I guess we'll go to the modern day, it is down, yeah, 8%. No, more than that. Hold on. This didn't do it properly. Work properly for us, please. Thank you. 29%. There you
Okay.
go. So down
There you go.
29% since him signing his contract, basically, his PSA 10 Future Watch Auto. So
Nice.
tough start to the year for Elias Pedersen.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully he can get it going and pick it up because I did pick up some PD over the summer. I didn't pay crazy prices. I tried to buy it on the dip. I was trying to buy the dip, thinking that he was going to have a good season. But right now we're sitting at about even or so on those buys. Not ideal. Not ideal for Pedersen. All right, let's get to some hobby news here. SP Authentic checklist is out. It's going to be releasing next week. Next week, we're going to do the deep dive into SBA. Yeah, it's coming out October 30th, looking at $600 a box. But I do just quickly want to show a couple of cards that that Upper Deck has released. Let me just quickly pull it up here, share this tab. So this is what the Future Watch autos are going to be looking like these days. This is a one of one, but look at it. Oh, just such a beautiful patch.
That's a crazy patch.
I do wish they were bigger though. Like they seem to be getting smaller and smaller. And this is a one of one. Like give me a bigger patch for a one of one. Also, that's new. I don't remember if they've ever done one of ones for flops before.
Yeah,
so that is a new thing.
They have, yeah, they do the Future Watch Black where it's kind of like a, maybe I could pull up a photo.
Oh,
quickly,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I know they do sell them. I'll pull it up, but
this isn't black. That's why it looks different. It's like a gold. I don't know, but it does look like they're making these things smaller and smaller. This is what the Future Watch autos look like. This one's of Matthew Nyes, the inscribed version.
So this
Well,
is the
Matthew
Byfield
Quattra,
101.
yes.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I believe that year was like gold, so they do like a variation of the color maybe, but still like that's a great patch, awesome
that is
patch.
a sick patch. Yeah,
One of
there are
one,
sick
and
patches.
if you if you pull that Connor Bedard 101, you're sitting on a lot of fun. You're sitting
Mhm.
on a lot of fun.
So there's the regular FWAP, the Future Watch auto patch. What are we looking at here? Another
Leo,
drive for Leo. There's the
that's a
Bedsy
terrible
inscription.
photo. That's
You
a
don't like
terrible.
it?
No, I don't like that. That's brutal.
Why? Because he looks like he's seeing ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know. He's looking at the Chicago Blackhawks in the bottom of the standings this year again. I have no idea, but that's just not the best photo pick. I don't like that one personally.
Sign of the Times makes a return as always. Don't love that they're stickers, but
Yeah, I saw that. Not a big fan.
sure. Another sticker auto for Sign of the Times. So that'd be a nice card though, like Fantilli, Bedard, Cooley, little
It
all
would be
three
nice
rookies.
if it wasn't sticker. I mean,
Yeah, I don't like that SPA is giving us stickers, man. It's a
yeah,
$600 box. We should not be getting stickers
yeah,
in this product. Devin Levi. There's another Future Watch
that's
limited
nice.
auto. Dustin Wolf. Um, Lectern Legends signatures. So Eric Lindros, pageantry autograph. That's a really cool card, actually. I do like that a lot.
That's
The
cool.
pageantry auto there by Logan
Yep,
Cooley.
really
I
nice.
like that. Yeah,
Is
really
that a
nice.
101 Cooley if you go back?
Does it
Yeah, it
say
is. Top
101?
right. Yeah, top right. Jeez.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, I thought it looked different. Like it definitely
Yeah.
the very pixelated. That is cool looking. The one of ones there. Yeah, good eye. I did not see that myself. Evolve. Sure. All right. I'll take a on card Connor McDavid
That's
card.
pretty cool. 3
Yeah,
different jerseys,
pretty cool
right?
looking card. Yuri
Oh, 3 different
Slafkovsky.
years. That's cool, yeah.
Here's what the limited autos look like. Looks like Slav did not sign where he was supposed to. Definitely was supposed to sign right here. And he said, nah, I'm gonna do whatever I feel like it. Curated signatures is another autograph product in here, Austin Matthews. And I think that's so that's gonna be it for
Cool.
those. So yeah, so we'll do more of a deep dive in it next week. We'll take a look a little deeper into SP Authentic. One other piece of hobby news that I wanted to discuss. Macklin Celebrini is still out. He got injured on opening night, considered week to week. Do you think this will have an impact on his market? Like, if he's hurt and he comes back, it doesn't really start lighting it up. Like, are you concerned that he'll kind of just fade into the season and out of the limelight of the hobby? Because remember, what drives the hobby?
The hype. The hype.
Hype drives the hobby, and when you're out of the game or out of the limelight, the hype could stop, man. And I'd be kind of not worried, but like he's supposed to be the big chase for Series 2, and
I
if he doesn't really get going here at some point, like I don't know, do you think this will have an impact or no?
I I think too, it's a numbers game where people love seeing the numbers of rookies. Like, oh, Macklin Celebrini has 25 goals in 41 games, whatever it might be. And if he's hurt for a majority of the season, you can't really have that backing up his hype for the hobby. That's exactly what people go crazy for. And you look at Bedard, how good he played last year. I believe he was point per game pretty much because he had around 60 points in 60 games played, whatever it was. And for Macklin Celebrini on already a struggling Sharks team, I know there's not really a lot going on with that team. Askarov in the minors. For the short term, I think it will. It will hurt his hobby, especially on release if he does find himself on the IR. But in the long term, I still feel like a Canadian player, very popular in the hobby. They're gonna soak up all that good stuff because he's gonna make for a good rookie part of that rookie class. Sorry.
All right. All right. So Anthony, not concerned about the Celebrini injury. All right, buddy. Show and tell time. Both of us have some nice pickups from this week. Obviously, you mentioned you're getting ready for the Expo, so you're making sure that you're getting all this inventory, which I guess will be available at Anthony's booth in the
Yep.
next few weeks. If you guys like anything you see and want to pop over and pick something up, but let's get on with it. What'd you pick up this weekend, Anth?
All right, so these are 3 of my favorites I picked up. I was actually first one here, and we've talked about this maybe 20 episodes ago. But women's hockey cards, I feel like they're getting more popular, and there definitely is a market for them. So I picked up this really cool Laura Stacy card. There
Nice.
was a table with
beauty patch.
yeah, the patch was kind of what sold me. But oh, you got it. I saw a table there of a dealer that was selling all women's Team Canada stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up a card here and end up buying the coolest one I see, and this was definitely the coolest one. So for anyone that does collect any women's hockey, I feel like that should be a pretty enticing card. What's going on over there? We good?
I was trying to do it so that you were the lone like this,
No, that's
but
all right. We're
you.
good.
But I'm just screwing everything up.
No, we're good how we are. We're good. There we go.
I was just trying to make it bigger for those watching, make it a little easier to see.
We're all good. So yeah, that's a sweet little Laura Stacy card. Patch auto, awesome patch.
We both picked up some women's hockey.
Oh, nice.
I got the GOAT, Marie-Philippe Poulin.
Was that at the same table?
This one?
Most likely, I assume, right?
Well, no, we did not go to the same show. So
I thought that was from. I thought that was because I got this from the Collecticon show. I wasn't sure if you got that from Collecticon. I'm assuming you got that from the Niagara show, right?
The Niagara show this weekend.
That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, so that was very nice. Marie-Philippe Poulin, auto sticker. It's a sticker auto, unfortunately, but whatever. It's still Philippe Poulin, the GOAT auto. Team Canada game use patch certified. I've been used in an official Team Canada hockey game. Yes, so it is an official game use patch of Captain Clutch herself, Marie. And we are both under the assumption that women's hockey is slept on in this hobby. So always picking those up. Always picking those up. All right.
No, I think it's a great idea. Next up, picked up this really cool dual patch auto ultimate, and that's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, both which are actually, so this one's out of 35 and it is game use. So that's just an awesome patch for 2 popular players. Like I feel like having that at the Expo, I'll get some pretty good trade offers, maybe a couple people interested, but I was pretty fired up to pick up that one. So I think that's a beauty. And the very last one, got this in the mail, actually came with a Connor McDavid Young Guns, but picked up Alexander Ovechkin Young Guns. Love that. I feel like I want to pick up a couple more popular Young Guns before I start setting up, because I feel like these are it's great eye candy at the table. Great eye candy.
We'll talk. I got some stuff for you. Yeah.
There we go.
We'll talk. I picked up a bunch of stuff. Like I was set up at a show, so I had some people come by and wanted to do some trades. Some people want to do some selling, and then I picked up a couple of things at the show as well. And I already showed the Team Canada Marie-Philippe Poulin patch auto. I guess we'll start off here. Got John Tavares stature auto green to 10, number to 10. I think this is number 7 to 10. Nice little on-card auto there for John Tavares. Always love the stature on-card autos. I also got a Platinum Die Cuts on-card auto again, Opeachy Platinum of Jason Robertson. Not a rookie, but whatever. Rainbow autograph. You can barely see the auto, though. It is kind of faded. It's one
of those cards. I think I've seen that set before. It is kind of, but I think they're pretty.
It was tough. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of the material of the card, or possibly just the pen was kind of getting a little dull. It's not a great autograph, I will be honest with you. But it's Jason Robertson. It's on card and it's an auto. So, and it was very well priced. And if it's very well priced, I will consider picking up anything realistically. A couple other pickups, a couple Young Guns, Matthew Nyes, Leo Carlson, got those. Brock Faber, authentic rookies, jersey, game used jersey from SP Game Used. Same thing from Austin Matthews, game used jersey from Matthews. Nice. This was kind of cool. A premier collection, premier signatures of Ilya Kovalchuk.
Oh, that's really nice. And then
really nice. Kovalchuk, a little gold or silver auto on black. Like that card a lot. Don't see a lot of Kovalchuk autos, so that was pretty sweet. Intimidation Nation from Metal, Fleer Metal. autograph short printed for Jordan Binnington. So
All right.
Ben, these ones, I think there's like an autographed Intimidation Nation is like one every 788 packs or something. So that was super short printed card that I was able to get there. Tyson Forster, who I'm quite big on. Nice little
Nice patch.
exquisite
Beauty.
rookie patch, number to 99. Beauty patch too. Yeah, you can
Really
see nice
nice.
little 3-color. Yeah, really cool looking patch there. And like I said, buying the dip, still buying the dip. Good old Petey. Petey PS8 then.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, buying the dip. I am all in on Elias Pettersson turning around. But I also got a little Laffy Taffy.
Oh, okay, sweet.
10 Young Guns as
Cool.
well. And I also picked up this really cool basketball card from my local card shop yesterday. Steph Curry Color Blast draft picks.
Nice.
So the Color Blast, I don't know if you can really see, but this
yeah.
is like it glows. It's really cool. It's a really cool insert that Prism does. And Steph Curry, GOAT player. Always good to grab GOAT players whatever you can, especially short printed products such as these Color Blasts. So those were the pickups that I had this week. Some nice pickups. And if anyone wants anything, always catch us on Instagram at abcards, a.b.cards with a Z. Anthony is at sportscardsgta as well for anyone who is interested in picking up anything that we had just showed there. Upcoming shows. You got anything cooking this weekend?
So I know there's the Sunday show in Hamilton. I don't know if I'll be there right now. I'll probably have a decision made by Saturday, but I do need to pick up like a little bit more before the Expo. That's what I'm hoping for. So I do think I'll probably end up going if it works out.
I think I'll be setting up there.
Okay. Great show too.
Yeah, Steeltown, Copetown show in Dundas. I think it runs from 9:30 to 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 10 to 3. Yeah, either 9:30 or 10 o'clock till 3 p.m. So that'll be in Copetown, in Dundas, the Steeltown Collectibles show that is on Sunday. There's also the MSC and TCG show also happening in Mississauga. And then Friday night at Mint Inc., they're hosting a trade night, actually. So, and shout out to them for letting me come on stream last week. Johnny Amendola, the owner, beautician, said he'd like to come on the show sometime and maybe, we could do some product openings and stuff at some point and, get a chance to talk to a store owner and see, from a store owner's perspective, how's the health of the hobby. So Johnny could come on and help us with that, but he's hosting a trade night Friday night at Mint Inc. He's also hosts the Saturday night trade night at the Expo too. It's the Mint Inc. trade night too, right? So, so that's what's going on this weekend in the hobby. That will do it for us today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. To all the new subscribers and listeners of the show as well, hopefully you enjoyed the content. We do have new episodes going out every single Wednesday. You could subscribe to the show on Spotify for you on-the-go listeners, and you can also watch us on YouTube as well for the visual aspect of the show. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of the Hockey Card Haven podcast.